politics, Tony?
I'm not going to. I left the chalk at home.
The administration's mantra for a long time has been support the troops. What is the reaction then when you read this series of stories in the Washington Post about troops coming home from Iraq, Afghanistan, and being treated so poorly, apparently based on this long investigation? What's the president's reaction?
There are a couple of things. First, it's not a mantra. I would really choose words carefully. It's a commitment to support the troops. And the president, as you know, has visited the wounded many times at Walter Reed, and we are concerned about it. And the people who we are aware now, and and I would refer you to the Department of Defense, which I know is taking a very close look at it too. Look, the men and women who have gone and fought for our country over there, they deserve the best care.
So why has that not been guaranteed then?
Well, I'm not sure that, when you find a problem, you deal with it.
So you're saying the president learned about this from the Washington Post?
I don't know exactly where he learned from it, but I can tell you that we believe that they deserve better. And again, Ed, this is something where I'd suggest you give DOD a call, because I know they're taking a good hard look at it too.
Tony, can I call on that? I mean, Bob Dole might ask, where's the outrage?
There's plenty of outrage.
Is there?
Yeah.
So the president responded how when he learned about this, and what specifically did he order something to be done?
Look, what I'm suggesting, there's a reason I'm suggesting DOD is the proper place which will be taking care of these issues, and I would refer you to them for comment. But this is something that's going to have to be an action item.
But is there any evidence that it was even looked at before the paper printed its two stories?
Yes. But I do not know. That's why, again, I would refer you, Bill, to the Department of the Army, which runs the Walter Reed Army Medical Center. This is the place where, if you want to get...
It's an easy way for you not to have to talk about it.
Well, it's also a way of pointing to the proper authorities, which is what you would want.
The White House doesn't want to be on record with a more emphatic expression of amazement and upset about this?
No, when David asked for the outrage, of course there's outrage. The men and women who have been fighting have not received the outpatient care. If you read the stories, there are many who are happy with it, some who are unhappy, and it's important that we show our commitment to the people who have served. I don't know what more you want me to do.
In December, NPR ran a series looking at the quality of mental health care for Iraq veterans who've returned, showing that it's sort of shocking how little care is provided to them. And several Congresspeople, Obama, Boxer, and Bond, sent a letter to the Pentagon, which you're referring us to, asking for an investigation, which they have not agreed to conduct. So you're referring us to the DOD, but they're not acting quickly on this. So does the president...
Well, again, you've asked me about two separate stories, and
it seems there's a problem that's endemic to the system.
Well, I would rather than leaping to a conclusion, as I said, I would suggest you call them, and then we can talk about it later.
On camera this morning, you said that you would have something at noon. You said, I'll talk about it then, and now you're not really...
Well, that's because, again, I think that you may see some activity on it, and at this point, I would refer you to the Department of Defense. Well, I'll tell you what. Is the system working? Yes. Is it working perfectly? No.
It's good enough?
No, I said it's not good enough. I just told you it's not working perfectly, but there are also thousands of people who have been through the system, who have been cared for. But it is important that we maintain a commitment to following up or providing the treatment that these men and women deserve.
The president's going to say something about this later?
No.
Give me a moment ago that the administration was aware of this before the articles appeared in the paper.
That is my understanding. But again, this is something that's an action item over at the Department of Defense, and in particular the Department of the Army. I am not fully briefed on the activities or who knew what when, and I suggest...
Was the White House aware of it?
I am not certain when we first became aware of it. Now, the president certainly has been aware of conditions in the wards where he has visited, and visited regularly, and we also have people from Walter Reed regularly over to the White House as guests, sometimes in fairly large numbers. So, as I said, the president's committed to these people, committed to men and women who have served. We need to make sure that whatever problems there are get fixed. And that I couldn't be any stronger or plainer about it.
Has he given any new orders?
I'm not, at this point, Helen, I think the most important thing, the way this would work is the Department of the Army has its own investigation about what's going on in Walter Reed. They will be taking action. The president certainly wants to make sure that whatever, as I said before, whatever problems there are get fixed.
Sorry, on Walter Reed, a lot of the veterans, the medical community, the doctors, the
neighbors who work at Walter Reed are very upset about this move, pending move to Bethesda. In light of everything that's happening, does the administration still support uprooting?
That is, the Department of Defense has made the decision to consolidate the treatment facilities at the Bethesda Naval Medical Center. I don't. So.
Chance of a second look at this. Some of those facilities at Walter Reed are brand new.
Well, again, I'm just going to refer you to that. This is all of a sudden people are trying to open up different avenues of inquiry. The fact is that those changes have in fact been decided upon by the Department of Defense. I'm not aware of any decisions to change. Brett.
To clarify, were these any actions that the Pentagon's taken, these action items, were they done on the Pentagon on its own, or did they do this in response to some order from here?
Again, I'm not aware that anybody has. Look, when you have a problem like this, the imperative is to fix it. I'm not sure that you have to issue orders. There are people there who know that if they've got a problem, they need to fix it. So I don't think that. I will try to find out for you, but I'm not aware that the president has cut any special orders. But I will try to get for you additional information. I know what you're trying to do is you're trying to get a TikTok and what did he learn and how did he respond and who did he call.
Someone here built a fire under someone over there to do something.
I'm just, that's assuming that the people there are callous about the fate of the people who are serving. No, I think it is. When you say light a fire, it's as if, you find out that there's a problem and you don't move quickly to try to correct it. My sense is that there's plenty of fire for trying to get it right. But this is why I'm telling you, if you want a more direct answer about this, you do need to talk to the people at the Department of the Army who have the ground level involvement here.
Read an account that says a commanding general, quotes a commanding general as saying, well, gee, we ordered repairs done, but they weren't done. You think they would have known that these things had been accomplished.
But then again, that's why you've just made my point, which is you need to get back to them, and I will also get back for you with a TikTok about what's going on at this end.
You're describing kind of a cold, detached, bureaucratic process. We all know how this works. Something like this kind of story gets people's attention. You're now in the PR business. You know, if something like this happens, it's at odds with the commitments you make. The commander-in-chief might well stand up at a meeting and say, darn it, let's get to the bottom of this now and let's get answers. And this happened over the weekend, and you're saying you think the White House knew, but you're not sure. You're not sure when the president knew or if he said something to somebody. It just seems like we should have those answers.
Okay, but you also, fine, I'll try to get them for you. But when you talk about cold detachment, I don't think saying that if it needs action item. Well, yeah, because what I'm telling you is that it is something that falls under the provenance of the Department of the Army, and therefore, if you want the detailed answers about who knew what when and how it's been handled, you do need to ask them because they're going to have the information, David. So I can tell you that the president feels passionately about them, and you should have no doubt about it. You've been at enough events where when he looks these people in the eye, there is a commitment, a strong, profound, emotional commitment to the people who serve this country. And it is one where the president is committed to doing right by the men and women who serve. There should be no doubt about that. In that case, what I'm telling you is, let's sort through the facts. I know that what you want is for me to tell you more than I know right now, so you can keep at it.
It's reasonable for you or the president through you to express some kind of outrage over what has happened up there.
Well, it's also a matter of trying to figure out precisely what has happened. You have news stories, and it's important to investigate. As you know, the most important thing is to fix a problem. Correct? And there is absolute determination to fix the problem. The president is somebody, again, whose passion for these forces should never, ever be a topic of doubt on the part of the forces or the American people.